So hello everyone and welcome back in another master video. In this video we are going to discuss about the deserts, right? What are the deserts and the types of desert and how deserts are actually forms. Here you can see it that here five type of deserts are mentioned, right? Like polar deserts, rain shadow desert, coastal, continental, and one is subtropical desert. So these are the most important five types of deserts that we are going to discuss about it. We will go through it one by one with example, with explanation that how these kind of deserts actually forms. So this video will be in English only, right? Not in Hindi, in English, because I think if you are preparing for UPSC or a state civil service examination and you are going to write your mains answer in English, then you must watch lectures or videos in English, and apart from that you must also practice to speak in English while watching the video, right? This is the proper way from my point of view that you will be able to speak fluently in the coming days, right? So this video will be English in only, and if you want to watch it Hindi, you can translate it if you have an option in the YouTube setting, right? So first of all we should know that what is desert actually. So desert is something that receive less rainfall, right? If a certain area receiving very less rainfall, then there will be a condition like arid condition, right? And that's how deserts are formed. But why they receive less rainfall? So there are various factor in that, that's why they receive less rainfall, and that factor we are going to discuss in this video, because each type of desert having a different factors, that why they form such kind of desert, right? Now, so many students think that all deserts are formed because of high temperatures and deficient rainfall, but that is actually not a true. Then what is desert actually? So desert is a simply a region that receives very little rainfall and usually less than 250 per year, right? Now this statement can be directly asked in your UPSC or any state civil service examination. That means usually less than 250 per year. And some deserts are extremely hot while others, some deserts are cooled, and they are known as cool desert. Okay, like cold desert of India lies in Ladakh region. So deserts not always is hot or cold, right? There are various factors contributing in the formation of the deserts. So let us first understand each type of deserts one by one. The first is subtropical deserts, and this desert also called trade wind desert, right? What happened, you know that this is a earth and this is the equator, this is tropic of Cancer and this is tropic of Capricorn. These areas is known as the tropics, right? And trade wind flows here. Okay, now when trade wind flows here, the warm air rises and cold air sink, warm air tend to rises. Okay, but cold air tend to sink. So cold air will sink in the tropics, and what will happen that warm air will rise and they will move to next level, that is subtropical level. But when they move from these tropics level to next or higher level, ultimately they will lose their heating capacity or warming capacity, and eventually what will happen that cold air will sink down. Okay, when cold air will sink down, that means there will be a formation of desert. Why? Just tell me why. Because cold desert will not be able to form clouds. Okay, why? Because of the presence of the cold air. Now cold air does not contributes in the formation of clouds, and that's why this region have a deficit rainfall, and that is the basic region in the formation of the subtropical desert. So these deserts are found between 20 degree and 30-degree latitude in both hemisphere, that is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. But how they form is very very important, that you should know. So what happened that at the equator sun's heat land strongly, right? And then warm air will rise, cool and release rainfall. Now this is about the equator. After losing its moisture, this dry air will move toward the 30-degree latitude and start sinking. That means this is the equator. this, let's suppose it are tropics, cold air will sink here, warm air will rise, and they will sink here, right, to next tropic level. Okay, so at a sink it becomes warmer and drier, preventing cloud formation and rainfall. Okay, when these cold, they will become cold, right, after that, and they will sink down. But after certain time, these winds will warmer but drier. Okay, and as you all know, if air does not have a moisture capacity or the moisture holding capacity, then that air will not lead to the precipitation, and also they will not lead to the formation of the cloud. That's why this type of deserts are formed basically, right? Now there are some examples that should keep in your mind, because UPSC I think tends to ask such type of questions. If I think they will ask in matching type, which one is correctly matched, or you have to match each one, right? In one part they will give the name of the deserts, and then other part they will give the name of the types of deserts, and you have to match. So always keep in mind that Sahara deserts lies in Africa, Arabian desert, Great Victoria deserts, right? These deserts are the example of the subtropical deserts, right? Now you have to remember just a few things, that sinking dry air and air is dry, there will be no rainfall, and that's why this type of desert will develop. Now second one is rain shadow desert. Okay, what is rain shadow desert? Suppose this is a mountainous or any hilly area, and here is a what, any water body, or particularly you can consider it oceans. Okay, now what will happen when air will flow through these water bodies or these oceans? They will carry the moisture along with them. Now what happened, they will strike this part of the mountains or the hills, and they will not able to ascend more, right? They will not able to ascend more, so that they can cross and come to this side. So here you can observe, right? Let's suppose it is a western Ghat of India, right? So here will be a plenty of rainfall, but after that, when air lose moisture, they will become slightly, or you can say that their weight will become less, and they can now ascend upwards, and they will come into this side, but they do not have a sufficient moisture, right, so that they can precipitate here. So this will become rain shadow area. Okay, this is the shadow part for the raining, and this is rain bearing area. I hope everything is clear now. Now when air will become dry, they will not have a moisture, and even they can't get moisture from any water body, they will not able to formation of cloud or the precipitation. Okay, so these deserts form because of the mountains. Moist wind will blow from sea towards the mountain. As the air climbs the mountain, it cools and gives rain on the windward side. But by the time the air crosses the mountain, most of its moisture is gone. Okay, and now the descending air on the other side becomes dry and warmer. And this is called leeward side, and this is called windward side, or rain bearing side and rain shadow side, right? So you must know about it. Now this leeward side will receive very little rainfall, and that's why they become, or they will contribute to the formation of that region as a desert. Now here given some example that you should keep in mind regarding the how these deserts are formed. That means they are formed due to the rain shadow part. Okay, so Atacama desert, Patagonia desert, and Ladakh desert. Let me know in comment section that where these deserts are found except Ladakh. Now how will you remember? So mountain blocks rain, mountain actually will block the rain to ascend more, and then rain shadow desert will develop. Okay, so I have discussed these two kind of desert. Now let's move to third kind of desert, that is coastal desert. Now I am telling you that you should keep in mind just one thing about the coastal desert, that they will form the western coast of the continents. Okay, they will always tend to form along with the western coast of the continent due to the presence of the dry air. Okay, so what will happen, that cold ocean currents cool the air above them. Okay, suppose this is a water body and the ocean current is flowing, but this current is cold current. What current? Cold current. Now this cold current will ultimately cool the air above it, and as I have already discussed about it, that if the air becomes dry, they will not carry any moisture, and if they will not carry any moisture, they will not able to precipitate as well. Okay, so what will happen that these ocean currents cool the air above them. Now, since the air remains cool and stable, it can't rise to form a rain clouds, and that's why this will result into extreme low rainfall. But one common thing that is fog, you can observe the fog right here. Okay, so these are the coastal deserts, and these are developed primarily by the influence of the ocean currents. Okay, if the currents are cold, they will cool down the warm air above. Okay, and that's why they will not lead to the formation of the cloud or the precipitation. Okay, now you can note examples, that is namib desert and atacama desert. I have discussed it also here, atacama desert, because you can see here you will find the mountain. Okay, so these are the regions. Now one thing that I want to clear here, that atacama desert can be formed by both ways. One is by the rain shadow area, and another one is by the coastal deserts. Okay, oh sorry, cold current. Okay, so these are the four type. Okay, now remember, cold ocean current, very little rainfall, and that led to the formation of the cold desert. Okay, sorry, continental desert you can say, but I will discuss the coastal desert. Okay, now fourth is continental desert. Simple meaning is that it is talking about the interior of the any parts, right? Now we will discuss it with the example of the India. Okay, let us draw the map of the India. Okay, so this is the map of India. Okay, now there are two branches of the monsoon, one emerging from the Bay of Bengal and one from the Arabian Sea, and they will carry moisture with them. Okay, now what happen when they will strike to Western Ghat? They will precipitate here, as they will pass out from the Maharashtra, Gujarat. They can hold the moisture, and they will get the moisture from the Arabian Sea. But when they will reach toward the Rajasthan area, they will not get any moisture, because there were no vast major water body is present there, right? Now this will be interior part of the India, and here you will not get sufficient rainfall. Same as true is Bay of Bengal branch. They will strike to Myanmar, Bangladesh, Northeast India, and they will move here. As you all know, if you have read about something Indian monsoon, that when rain bearing clouds moving from the what? From the east to west, or from the south to north, their moisture carrying capacity will go down, and their precipitation ability will also go down. So these are the reasons that why continental or the interior deserts are formed. So these deserts are formed deep inside the continent, far from the sea. What happened, that moist wind lose most of their water before reaching the interior, and by the time they arrive, very little moisture is left, and that's why that region will scarce of the rainfall. Now you can note here example, that is Gobi Desert. Gobi Desert lies in Mongolia and China, these two countries, and Taklamakan Desert. Okay, let me know in comment section where these deserts are found. Now how will you remember? Remember, far from sea, and that's why they will have a dry type of climate, because air will not get sufficient moisture, and they will not able to precipitate mostly, right? Now the last type for today is polar desert. You can see here, this is about the polar region. As you all know, that polar region have a cold air, right? Okay, so these are the coldest desert on the earth. Now how they form? Because you know, sun's presence is within the tropics, right? And when sun's rays fall in these regions, north or south, okay, they will fall slanting. Okay, that is not directly. That's why the temperature in this region will low, and if the temperature is low, then air can't hold much moisture, and that's why snowfall is very limited. But covered with ice, these region receive daily little precipitation. Okay, why? Because the air is dry, temperature is very low. The temperature will be low, there will be no cloud formation, and if there will be no cloud formation, then will be no precipitation. Now you can note example here, that Antarctica or Arctic region, and you can remember it very easily that extremely cold is extremely dry. Okay, now let us quick recap here. Now you have to remember that just SRCCP, that is subtropical, rain shadow, coastal, cold, your continental, and polar. Okay, S is subtropical, that means sinking air, rain shadow, mountain barrier, coastal desert, cold current, continental far from sea, and polar is extremely cold. Now let us know in comment section how it was, and if you know that you are benefiting from this type of video, and you can subscribe it, share with your fellow aspirant, and also don't forget to like the video because every likes will ultimately increase views, right? So if you want any dedicated video or any dedicated playlist about any subject, then you can direct comment it. Okay, and let's meet in another video.